Don't go away. On today's episode of Doggy Dilemmas, it's all about separation anxiety and Jack.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
On today's episode of Doggy Dilemmas, we're going to meet Barb Engel and her dog Jack, who's a 5-year-old Brittany Spaniel. He appears to be suffering from separation anxiety. So we're going to talk to Barb, meet Jack, and see if we can sort out some of his behavior issues. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Denise.
How are you?
I'm fine. We have a good day today.
Yes, we do. All right, so let me just start with the beginning history of Jack, right? He's 5. You've had him since he was a puppy.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you first notice any sort of issues with him?
I think it started fairly early when we would leave. He would urinate and sometimes defecate when we left the house.
Okay.
And it's gotten worse since we moved in April to a different house.
Okay. So April of this year, did you move locally or did you like a big move?
It was from New York State to here.
Okay. So pretty big move.
Yes. New house, no fenced yard, a lot of changes.
Right. Okay. So tell me what else he does when you leave him alone.
He will bark and carry on and scratch at the door and jump at the door. We usually have him go down in the basement. I go with him, and I sit there with treats and tell him it's going to be okay and try to calm him down. But the minute I walk out the basement door, he's already barking and whining and jumping.
Okay. At the basement door to try to get like back up to you?
No, I go out the back way.
Oh, okay.
At the bottom door. So I think to try to make it easier, I don't know if it does or not.
Okay. And when do you, as you're getting ready for the day, when do you see or do you see some sort of recognition from Jack that, uh-oh, she's going to leave?
If I'm getting dressed like I did today and getting dressed in nicer clothes or I'm getting the things I need to go, putting my purse in a certain place.
Okay.
And keys.
Okay. Yep.
He's already got his ears up going, okay, what's happening? Am I going or not?
Okay.
Seems like.
Okay. So he alerts.
Yes.
But do you see any pacing or vocalization at that point?
No, but he tries to get toward the front door so nobody can leave without him.
Okay. Okay. So he sort of starts body blocking the front door.
Right, and getting, I think, a little anxious.
Okay. And did you notice that as a young dog too?
Yes. I think he's always been like that a little bit.
Okay. How long has he been eliminating when you're gone? Like, does he still do that today? In the basement, he'll still do that? Always? Whenever you leave?
Always.
Okay. And have you ever had neighbors report anything that he's been barking or carrying on?
No.
When you're away?
I think we live far enough away from most of the neighbors that they wouldn't hear him or be alarmed. We have a lot of barking dogs too.
Okay. And at the casting call, you said he's not in a crate. Have you ever used a crate with him?
We got one once. We did not use it.
Okay.
So no, we haven't.
You tried or didn't use it?
I think we tried to get him to go in it, but he didn't like it, so we gave in and did not use him.
Okay. And what did not liking it look like from Jack?
Basically, he didn't like going in it, and to try to encourage him to go in it, he didn't want to be in there or stay in there or anything about it. He just left as quick as possible.
Okay. So he never stayed in it for any length of time to
No.
really know if he would just settle down in there or not?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Give me a day in the life of Jack. Like, where does he sleep? What's the morning routine?
Well, he sleeps in the bedroom with us, and I keep the door closed because I'm a little suspicious that at some time in the past he might have gone out and urinated on the rug.
Okay.
So then we get up, and he goes out first. We use an electronic collar to kind of give him some time to roam because we don't have a fence yet.
Okay.
So we set it. We don't use the buzzer very much, but he gets a full run of the yard.
Okay.
Then about 20
So
minutes.
it's not, excuse me, it's not an electric fence.
No,
It's just.
it's a hunting collar.
Okay. And he just naturally will not wander with the collar on, or do you actually have to give him a signal to come back?
Very rarely do we have to. He's
Okay.
getting used to it now more.
Okay.
That he knows if we say a certain come in a certain way, he knows to turn around and come where we can see him.
Okay.
Basically, we want him in sight in the yard.
Okay.
Then he goes in and drinks water, and we give him a little food, which he usually doesn't eat. He eats mostly in the evening.
Okay. Has he always been that way?
Yeah, he's not particularly food oriented right away. In fact, when I put him in the basement at the last, I left him some really good cookies. He never ate them.
Okay. Did he eat them when you got home?
No, they're still there.
They're still there. Okay. All right.
It was from
Okay.
Tuesday.
So, all right. So he won't eat in the morning. He seems like he's not very food motivated.
No, he loves play. He's very motivated by
Okay.
play. He's getting a little older now, though, so not so much, and we are too.
Okay. So he doesn't eat in the morning. Not very food motivated. Then what happens on a typical day?
He gets on the couch. He has a spot where
Okay.
he sleeps a lot. Only he's very alert. The minute you move in the house, he's already got his eyes open. Mm-hmm. So he's always looking for the opportunity to do whatever we're up to.
Okay.
He loves to ride in the car. So if we
Okay.
go anywhere and we can take him, we do. He's gotten kind of used to going with us, to be honest.
Okay. And what else?
At noon, we have him go out again. Mm-hmm. And then also at 5 p.m. And then at 10 o'clock at night, I take him out for a walk.
Okay.
I wish I could do more. I could walk him more.
And is there any particular reason why that you can't do that?
Just haven't been busy with other things.
Okay. Okay.
But if you have a recommendation for like going for a longer walk, not sure it would help with the separation anxiety, but I'm here to learn and
Right.
listen.
Right. Okay. Okay. So otherwise, he's just kind of hanging out with. If you're home, he's home with you.
Right.
If you leave, and then there's this routine of you bring him to the basement, or he follows you to the basement.
He follows me
Okay.
down.
And then he's given treats, but he doesn't always eat them.
Right, and there's a couch down there, and I sit with him a few minutes and try to calm him down. But he's a smart dog. He knows what's up.
Right. So the anxiety is already there.
Right.
Okay. And then when you leave him, he just stays there. You go out the back door.
Right.
And when you come home, what do you find?
He's had a defecation
Okay.
down there somewhere
Always.
in the basement. Always.
Okay. And so is that part of the reason why he's in the basement?
Yes,
Okay.
because we've left him in the house, and he has decorated the floors.
Okay, so if he eliminates in the house, I'm just trying to remember this. Does he walk through it? Is that what you mean by decorate, or just that he eliminates?
He eliminates.
Okay, but he's not pacing through it and spreading it all around.
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, I'm sorry. And he likes to go to the upstairs level, and he has urinated and defecated both.
Okay, on an upstairs level.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then at night, does he eat at night, and does he eat all his food?
Yes, at night he has a little bit of dry and moist together, and he eats all of it, and then I put a little dry in case he wants more.
Okay.
So, Jack, come here.
Okay. Would you say he has a signal to ask to go out? Like, how do you know if he needs to go outside to go to the bathroom?
I really don't know. He doesn't really, unless he looks anxious, and that's very uncommon because usually if we take him out those many times, he does fine. In fact, he doesn't defecate or urinate right away. Mostly he wants to snoop around and sniff. So apparently he's able to, hold it when he needs to.
Okay. And on a walk, does he eliminate?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I asked because you'd be amazed at
Well,
things I've heard about people who, no, they never, they don't eliminate with a
never go.
leash. Or,
Right.
Okay.
Well, he sometimes walks down to the end of the walk and then goes in his own yard again when we get back.
Sure. No, he sniffed everything else. Okay. What other types of damage has he done to the house?
When he's barking at someone coming up to the house, he will knock things off tables to get to the window.
Okay.
Jack, come.
He's kind of nosy. He wanted to
Yeah.
look out the windows here and stuff. Okay.
And I think it's more of an accident than intentional because he's just so fixated on getting to the window to bark, and he's got that problem too, but of possessiveness of the house. But I think we got that one about solved.
Okay. Well, my dogs will bark at people that they see out the window, and it's more like they just want to see them and they want them to come in, or it's a little frustration because of the barrier, they can't quite get there. Okay, so
Come here. But I think he's a very sensitive dog to praise, and even he looks like he has hurt feelings. Like, why could you leave me in the basement? Treat me like a dog.
right. And so, Barb, what is your ultimate goal for him? I mean, if he were sort of the perfect or the more perfect dog.
I would love him to accept it and relax that he's going to stay by himself for a while
Okay.
and not be so anxious or needy.
Okay. Anything else? You said walking. Now, you just want to know where to walk him, or do you want somebody to walk him?
No, I can walk him. It would be good for me as well. Just getting myself out to do it. It's just been a little lazy on our part that I will use the hunting collar. I almost think he loves to roam around the yard almost better than walking because he gets to sniff and go where he wants.
Right. Both are.
But I know that walking is a good thing for him.
Sure. Yep. And there's benefits to both of you. So.
Right.
Okay. So let me just talk a little bit about what separation anxiety is, and then whether I think that Jack has separation anxiety. There's a big stress yawn, huh? There are some very clear hallmarks of separation anxiety. And one of them is that when the person starts to get ready to go, the dog is so attuned to their sort of ritual or their routine that often people will say, as soon as I pick up my purse, the dog will start to vocalize or whine or pace, or really the anxiety really starts to come out, and all this anxious movement happens. Sometimes it's when they put their shoes on, and sometimes the dog will actually back chain events. So it's when they brush their teeth, or it goes back as far as when the alarm goes off. Monday through Friday I work, I set my alarm, the dog is anxious from the moment the alarm goes off. Saturdays and Sundays I don't use the alarm. Dog never has any issues, until I leave. So he doesn't have that level of anxiety. He watches your purse and he wants to go, so he's in tune to it, but I'm not hearing from you some extraordinary amount of stress when you're getting ready to go, and he's not back-chained things. The other sort of telltale hallmarks are every time you leave or he's left alone. And let me just be clear, because separation anxiety can be attached to a person. So it would be possible that when I left, even though there would be other people and other dogs in the house, a dog with separation anxiety would have a huge issue because I wasn't there. And other dogs don't particularly care, they just don't want to be alone. And so if it's just when they're alone, they're having a huge anxiety attack. So one of the other hallmarks of separation anxiety is when you leave, the dog is doing damage to exit and entry points, which is usually doors, windows. I've had dogs that jump out of windows, they eat through doors. If they're put in the basement, they eat through the door to get out or get up into the house, and then they start people will put down their blinds or close their drapes, and they come home and it's a disaster, pulled apart. So the good news is he's not doing that either. One of the other things is, and I want you to do this, I want you to experiment with this. So he's not terribly food motivated. Is there something that you found that he really likes in terms of food?
Not really.
No. Okay.
I thought my husband's going to make up some liver, I think, and
Okay.
see how that works. Because he certainly did like the treats when we went to visit you.
Oh, okay. So we like them at the casting call.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So most of those were deli ends, and I can give you some of that today. Some of them are deli ends, and I
It
also
might work, and again, he might get upset because I'm leaving anyway. So I've never found anything that worked. Oh, jeez.
So you said that you were happy to know that Jack knew more English than a lot of the dogs there.
Yes, he did.
So just loosen the leash. And so tell me the
Sure.
behaviors that he has. Sit, and we can find out. Good
Let's
boy.
see what's good. Yeah, he can sit. He knows walk. Let's go for walkies.
Okay.
He knows that.
Does he know die down?
No, not yet. Not yet. We could work on it. And he will.
Good boy.
He knows go bye-bye in the car.
Okay.
That's his favorite. And we don't even need
Sit.
a leash. He'll run out and sit down and wait for the kennel word. And he knows how to jump in. And
Well, he liked all of those.
he does a
things.
little separation anxiety when we go in a restaurant.
And-
A little unhappy.
Okay.
But he will settle now. He's getting used to that. Oh boy.
He likes that too. Yes.
But he's happy to pay attention to that right now.
Right, right. These are homemade liver treats.
And
So
that's
what food are you feeding him?
He gets Beneful dry, and then the Beneful moist, we give him maybe half of the
Okay.
little moist packet.
And do you leave the food down for him all the time?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the dry.
Is he used for hunting?
No,
No hunting.
no, he's got that instinct. You can see him
Oh, yeah.
pointing things in a bush.
There it is!
Yes. And when nobody comes out to do anything about it, he'll.
It's like, darn,
Darn, yes.
you're doing your job and you're not
He-
getting
he's
paid
a
for
very-
that. Oh,
He's a very good boy. He can. He's just a good companion to go places with.
Yeah, he is. All right.
Still a
So-
little pulling, but this thing seems to have
Okay.
a lot.
Okay. The one thing I'd like you to experiment with is leaving him with some higher value food downstairs. He may indeed be anxious that you're leaving without him. It doesn't sound to me like he has true separation anxiety.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have he's not back chaining your events till you leave. He's clearly not doing damage to windows and doors, which is pretty serious. And a lot of times, destructive behavior, which he does not have either. But sometimes people say, oh, my dog's doing this, that, and the other thing, getting into the trash or counter surfing or doing whatever. And we sort of fall into these catch-all phrases of separation anxiety. But
Right.
separation anxiety, true separation anxiety, is very difficult. Very, very difficult to cure, to get, to manage. Dogs end up in shelters or worse because it's impossible. Their owners can't go anywhere with the dog's doing damage to themselves, jumping out of windows. So I'm very glad to say that he doesn't have separation
that's
anxiety. I think that we can clearly potentially make it better for him when you leave so that you don't feel so bad about leaving him. I would challenge you to go back to a crate and I can give you some information or I can send it to you, but on how to train a dog to enjoy the crate. Then you may not have seen my downstairs, but I have 3 crates set up, and dogs, when I start to get out treats because I'm getting ready to leave, right? And they're all sort of aware, oh, she's moving around now, she's up and down the stairs, and I'm not very routine oriented, so things are always everywhere, right? So it's not this nice little thing. I grab my purse, I grab my bag, I go out the door. It's always
Yeah.
like I go out to the car, I come back in.
I forgot this or that.
Exactly. So So as I'm doing that, the dogs are always on alert. Oh, she's getting ready, and then I'll grab some high-value treats, and right now it's just some salmon treats I have downstairs, and everybody starts to run in their crates.
Oh.
Now, they might vocalize when I'm gone. I leave the radio on for them. They might bark at each other a little bit, and there's certainly a static when I come home, but it keeps them safe, and it keeps the house safe. And I would guess that you're probably pretty tired of coming home to poop in the house, and there's no reason why he can't hold it. It's just that he doesn't have to hold it.
Right.
So my suspicion is there's a little bit of what I would call a little bit of incomplete house training with him. Because if he, for example, if he were to come here to board, he would probably have accidents all the time, or potentially all the time, because he doesn't have a signal necessarily to ask to go out.
Oh, yes.
And my definition of being house trained is the dog asks, says, yo, I gotta go out. But he's on this fixed schedule. You get up in the morning, and then noon, and then 5, and then 10, and he's like, yep. But when you're gone, he has an incapability of holding it. And that could be stress. I mean, dogs will certainly eliminate if they're stressed out, but he's not doing damage to the basement. He's not eating the couch. He's not digging at the door.
Right.
He might jump on the door when you leave, like, oh, I wish I could go.
Some few scratches.
Right, we could anthropomorphize that forever, but the bottom line is he's probably just bored, needs to poop, and he does because he can.
We usually have him go out before we go.
Yep.
That might be another thing he worries about too, that it's a different time than
Right,
usual.
right. And so, if you're not there during those times that he's accustomed to going out, that could cause a problem. What I would like, I feel like I've been talking a lot about crates, but it would be interesting to see if we could get him to enjoy the crate and to be comfortable in the crate, and then you wouldn't have to clean up every time you came home. And
I'll work on it.
Right, and there's there's really no reason why you couldn't. I would love to see him walking on a sensation harness. Is this for the car that he's wearing now?
No, he pulls very badly. And with this, it apparently was explained to me that this will pull up on his armpits, and they don't like that. So he doesn't pull as much.
Okay.
Because I was about to give up walking him.
Right. So are you able to walk him with this?
Yes.
Comfortably?
Beautifully.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's not mess with that. I think a Brittany Spaniel could use as much exercise as you're capable of giving him. Even though he's 5, that's not really that old for the breed.
No.
I would, so if you're looking for other places to walk, I do know a dog walker, we can talk about that as well. And I would change where you walk him if it's possible. I'm not exactly sure where your area is in Fitzwilliam, but when I teach a dog walking academy for 4 days for professional dog walkers, and it's important if you're walking the same dogs to change where you walk them so that the sights change, the smells change, it becomes more enriching and more stimulating for them. And it can help them calm down. When I have a group of dogs here at the house, I usually go to Goose Pond because my dogs are always changing, right? So I can go to the same place because the same dogs aren't always going there. And that's an hour, nice walk around. And boy, when we come home, everybody's sacked out because they've just had some stimulation. It's not like they've run for 50 miles, but they've been able to sniff in the woods and go swimming or chase whatever and slog through the water and the mud and stuff. And so I can get a lot of work done because they're all pretty sacked out. So I would like to encourage you to try a crate. And do you still have your crate?
No, but I'll get. I think I'll get the biggest one, a bigger one. I was a little wanting it to be bigger than it was because it didn't seem like he was very comfortable in it.
And just know if you're having issues with, oh my God, I feel so bad, then he's going to be like, yeah, I'm not going in there. Right?
I'll go in with him.
You know what I mean? He's gonna sense that she's not really serious. I don't have to get in there.
Right.
And he clearly likes the treats.
Oh yes.
So, we can talk about that. I would just leave the crates open. You might need to experiment with the wire crates versus the Very kennels. And Very kennels are the plastic enclosed ones. I prefer the wire ones only because they fold up easier and I can lug them around where I need them to go. But it's personal preference. So wherever you pick it up, I would just sort of check with them if this doesn't work or if I want to try the other kind, are you able to return it?
And you were talking about the sensation kind of lead.
It's a sensation harness.
Right.
But if you're happy with that one, then there's no need to change it. The point is, if you can walk him on that, then walk him on that. You know, we don't need to change that. My guess is that you could leave him in the basement or upstairs in a kennel once he's adjusted to it, with something to do, and that something could be brain toys. That I think we talked about briefly
Yes, I saw
at the
some of
show.
them.
You could adjust him to marrow bones. Has he ever had a raw marrow bone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. And he loves those?
Yes.
Okay. So he could go in the crate when you leave and he gets a marrow bone.
Yeah.
And that could be his, amazingly enough, I occasionally will prepare a meal. Then I will have the dog in the crate, I'll close the door, and I can throw treats through the bars. So that as long as he's quiet, I have like one of these bags on the counter. I'm throwing him treats while I'm making macaroni and cheese and throwing him treats. And he's like, wow, this is a great place. You open the door, all the treats stop. If he stays in, he was welcome to have some more. And you'll find that he may start to go in on his own. Do I get one now? Do I get one now? So it's really all about, you want to make that a positive association.
Right.
And the best way to make it positive is with food.
Right.
Because, you know, dogs love food. And praise, absolutely. You can verbally praise them for being in the crate. And the example I like to give is we all like to have, oh, that was a good job, Denise. I really like the job you did. But I would prefer the bonus. Here's a $500 bonus for doing, yeah, baby, I'm going to do that job again, right? So if the dog's going to get the $500 bonus for going in the crate, yeah, that's nice that you're talking to me, but hey, right, fork over some money. I think that he could probably benefit, if you wanted to, for a food change over time. And it's just that any food that has a lot of color to it and dyes, you know, it's kind of like eating a hot dog for us. And, you know, maybe you like hot dogs, I don't know. But when my children eat hot dogs, I can tell that they've had a lot of junk food. So you might find that some of the anxiety, when, you know, it's hard to say, that's his special treat when he gets in there. I worked with a family with a very nice German Shepherd, but he submissively peed. And he would just like come on you and pee on you or their carpets. And so they found it was unacceptable for him to do this on their carpet. So they would whisk him off to the back room and put him in a crate. And they'd always treat him. And so what happened in a very short time is when he heard footsteps coming up the steps, they weren't even at the door yet, he was racing off to and I'm like, where's the dog going? Like, oh, well, he's getting in his kennel because we don't want him to pee, and there's this whole thing, and he always gets something when he gets there. Oh. So for the dog, he was like, yeah, he couldn't wait for somebody to come into the house because it was always a predictor of him getting something of high value. So the same thing can happen with Jack here. He can be like, when are you leaving? When are you leaving? Because I want to go in the crate and get my bone.
Would you suggest it to be up in the main room or in the basement, the crate? The basement's just an ordinary basement. We don't go live there.
If the crate is something that you can tolerate in your house and move around it, then I would leave it there. It'll be easier for you to train him to like it if it's near you.
Right.
Because he can go in it. And what I like about the wire crates is sometimes I'll bring up a crate if I'm trying to get a dog adjusted. So if I'm in the kitchen, he doesn't look very anxious here.
Nothing new. He gets bored quick too.
Right. I mean, you know, he was a little anxious when he arrived, but that's pretty calm. Now if I get out the treats, you know, he'll probably come over again. But a better quality food might help him overall.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, and I can give you some suggestions on how to do that. So, these are all my suggestions. I would change his food, and it's going to have to be slow because I'm thinking about a much higher quality food for him, and you can't go from hot dogs to to salads and vegetables every day without having some sort of stomach issues happening in there. So it would need to be done very slowly for him. And it would be interesting to see, you could experiment. So like I feed a brand called Prairie, and there's venison, there's rabbit, there's chicken, there's beef. So I can rotate through any of the sort of higher quality dog foods. I like a variety, and I do impose that on my dogs. I don't feed them the same food all the time. I'll buy a 40-pound bag of venison, then the next time I might buy the rabbit or something different. So it would be interesting to see if that just sort of helped him overall with any anxiety or anything that he's got going on. I would definitely try to reintroduce a crate slowly over time, and I can give you some paperwork on how to help him do that. If it can be in the main part of your house so that he can be in there with you. Some dogs prefer a cover over it, so once he's trained and you don't need to keep throwing treats into it, you can just put a sheet or a blanket over it. It brings out their natural denning instinct, and half the time when I'm looking for my Boston Terrier, she's gone in a crate and she likes to burrow in things. So if there's no, blanket thrown on the couch, she'll like to sleep on the couch too, but she'd much prefer to be in a blanket. She'll be in a crate all burrowed in. You can't even tell she's in there. I have to, are you in this one? And even my yellow lab will go in a crate. We can certainly use them when needed for timeout sessions, but he's not suffering from any of those kinds of issues. So if you change his food or when you change his food, and we see that he's more interested in the food, then a few brain toys might help him. I mean, he's a Brittany Spaniel. He's a hunting dog. He's got a job to do, and I think most Americans that own dogs aren't using their dogs for the job they were bred to do. So we sort of have to, we can not imitate it, but we can give them a different job to do. So marrow bones can be considered brain toys. There's certainly nothing wrong with them. I don't know if you got a bully stick at the show.
Oh, yes.
Did he like that?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. He could have a bully stick in his crate when you leave.
Yeah,
he
that's
could
a
have
good
a marrow
idea.
bone. He could eat. He's not being overly he's not being destructive at all, but he could enjoy a nice brain toy when you're gone, or even when you're home. You could just feed him out of the brain toy, so he has to work to get his food out of the peanut butter that's been stuffed in the Kong. And then a second step would be to freeze it to make it more challenging for him. He's gonna fall asleep again.
Well, see, the minute I would move or do something different, he will be on alert.
Right.
He doesn't fall asleep solid very well.
Right,
very much.
right, because he always wants to know where you're going to be.
Right.
And that's all right. I think that's, well, I guess, when you go home, kind of watch him, and so you feel like he doesn't close his eyes?
He snores. He'll get
Okay,
to the point.
so
but
he'll-
if there's any noise.
but then if you get up.
He's
Yep,
yes.
yep,
He's on. He has a half a ear open, I think.
Yep. And I would say that that's probably pretty normal.
For
My
him.
office, because my office is downstairs, and I'll get 2 or 3 dogs, depending on their size, sleeping under my desk. And, dogs are masters of reading body language, and we don't even know what our body language is, but they do. So there's a way that I'll back up my chair to get into a different file cabinet. Most dogs don't get up when I do that. But if I get up out of my chair, then everybody's, just like you said, everybody's, what's happening? Where's she going? We're going upstairs? Because we all go together. Right? So there's 5 dogs. There's 5 dogs coming
he
upstairs.
has to be everywhere.
Yes, yep. But he's, he's not what I'd call an anxious dog. He's not panting. His facial, the veins in his face are not popping out. He was happy to, check out the bones, and he laid down very quickly. Let me just have you just kind of walk to the corner of the couch and come back, and you can drop the leash, see where he's gonna.
Okay. Jack, come.
Hi, Jack.
Come.
Jack.
Woo-hoo. Come.
So go. We just disturbed everybody else. Good boy.
Good boy.
It's a good boy.
Yeah. I take it off in the car because I know this could get caught.
Yep, that's right. So come on back.
Come on, Jack. You disturbed everybody.
I don't think they knew you were here until we got up.
You were so quiet, nobody noticed.
Jack.
Jack,
Hi.
well, you're the one with the food.
So I'm just going to sit. Good boy. I'm going to have you do this.
He has
just so
good manners.
He does have very good manners. So for the down, I'm just going to bring the food.
Yeah, we need to teach him that.
There he goes.
Well, there you go.
Good boy.
I think at one time he did know that, but
Yeah, he does that very, not completely fluidly, but very close to. And he likes those.
he has the half sit mastered too. If he has to sit, oh well, do I really have to sit? And he's got still got his legs underneath it somehow.
I like that.
I don't
the
know.
half
He's
sit
funny.
master. All right, so let me just have you lure him into a down. We'll see.
Okay.
And
Jack.
let's see what we have.
Oh, as long as you have the food, he probably
Yeah, I'm going to
won't.
give it to you. Just going to break it up. This is chicken.
How nice.
Now you're pretty food motivated.
Okay, now sit. Sit.
Good. And bring it down between his feet.
Down. Down. Good boy.
Good. Very
Good
nice.
boy. All right. We'll do that in the
Good. And you
crate.
can have another piece. Yep.
Good boy. Yeah, I'm stingy with the treats, I guess.
Give him another
Here we
piece.
go. Oh,
So
you're
by
so
feeding
good.
him more than, so he lies down, you feed him, you feed him, you feed him, however many, 4, 5, 6, you're actually going to start to get a down stay. Because he's going to figure out, oh, if I stay here, the money's going to keep coming.
I
So
see.
I'm just going to stay here, right? He still hasn't really gotten up, but good boy. Yes, that's a very good boy. I'm very glad that he does not have separation
Oh, I am
anxiety
too.
because that would be huge. It seems like it could be a little bit of stress when you leave. It could be a little incomplete house training in that he just doesn't hold it. He hasn't had to hold it. He's on the schedule, and if the schedule gets disrupted, or again, a little stress, then he's just got to go. So,
I think he basically is a little bit spoiled going with us everywhere in the car to now that he's just protesting that he wants
Yeah.
to go
well,
with
sure,
us. You know,
he'd
it's a good
sure. My
thing.
dogs, they all look at, like I literally don't look at them when I have to leave in the morning to go somewhere. You know, Thor and Vesta give me those sad eyes. Am I gonna go? And I just like, nope, I'm not even gonna look at you because I'm human. It's like you feel bad. Or sometimes I'll give them a bone or a treat before I leave. They're happy with that too. But sure, I mean, the thing that people forget sometimes is dogs like to be with dogs, but they ultimately are domesticated and they like to be with us. So absolutely, he would prefer to be with you, but that's just not a reality of our society today. Some days he's gonna have to stay home alone and take care of the house. But there's no reason why he should be still, having poops in the house when you're not there. I think that could be helped with crating, a few brain toys, as much exercise as you're able to give him. Are you going to fence in your yard, or is there a
Yes.
fenced-in?
It's a process.
Okay,
in the
good.
process of-
And I don't know, but sometimes schools have places. I don't know that everybody watching is going to be. She's talking about going to the playgrounds, but
a lot of rail trails around too
yes,
here.
yep. And you can take him out on. Can he get out and run loose if you have his hunting collar on?
I think we could manage that if he stays within sight.
Right.
I think we could.
Right. Yep. Or that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. Just sometimes finding a big old fenced-in area sometimes will be
Tennis
helpful.
court.
Yeah. Tennis court. Does he like to chase tennis balls or anything?
He doesn't bring them back.
So yes, he likes to chase them, but
Sort of, but if there's a smell or something else that smells so good around, he'll ignore the toys
okay.
because he's
okay.
so happy to be outside.
Okay, right. All right, so let me just recap. I'd like you to try a crate again, patiently, making it as positive as possible. And I'm going to say it because you said it first, that you're stingy with treats, so don't be.
Uh-huh.
He needs to be paid big time to go into the handful of cheese, a handful of whatever. Let him go in, eat it, investigate, and come back out. You can start to close the door when you're home and you're around, and you can continue to pay him for being quiet and resting in there comfortably. Cover it up if needed. That will help him bring out that denning instinct. And then when you go, I would start by leaving him in there maybe for 30 minutes. So if that's possible, you go and get gas and you come back and you sort of listen to make sure that he's not hysterical in the crate. And you'll know if he's panting frantically when you come back, then he's been hysterical in the crate. If he's been biting at the crate, if there's a puddle of saliva when you get back, then he's been, just carrying on when he's been in the crate. Doesn't mean that he can't stay there, but it might mean that the process has to be a little bit slower. I'd like you to look into changing his food so that he can get a better quality food. That might just overall help make him feel better if possible. As much exercise, and it seems like you have a good handle on that now, will absolutely help him. And I would look at some brain toys, some marrow bones. He can go in the crate, have a marrow bone while you guys are eating dinner, and then he comes out. He can still have the marrow bone when he comes out. That doesn't matter. But just pair it with positive things all the time. And ultimately, he may bark when you leave. I mean, when I leave, the dogs are crated. I hear them barking, but usually when I come home, I'll put down my car window and I'll listen at the end of my driveway. And I don't hear anybody until they see me or hear me come in the driveway. Then everybody's all excited because I'm home and they're going to come out. But generally, I'm not getting reports that they're barking when I'm gone, unless they see something out the window. So you could kind of check with that as well to make sure that he's quiet when you're away.
Do you think we should face the crate so that he could see us leave, or maybe behind the couch where he can't see?
I think he could. I think that it's like when I take my kids to preschool or daycare, there was always this, let's just sneak away, because it's easier on us to sneak away. But I think just put it wherever you want and just say goodbye. Just throw them a handful of treats, bye, and away you go. And try not to feel so. You seem to feel really bad about it.
I do.
You do. So remember, you can sort of impose that on him, because dogs are sensitive, I think, to our emotions. If I'm upset, clearly the dogs kind of seem to, at least, are with me more, or they're closer to me. And when you're sick, they seem to, they just sort of, they just know that you're off in some way. So that if you're and what upsets you about leaving him? Like, why does that bother you so much to leave him?
Let's see. I guess the best answer would be that he's just so distressed.
Okay. So let's see if we can reduce that distress on his part, which will make you feel a little bit better.
Right.
And do it in short doses. And the crating is going to be strictly to stop him from eliminating while you're gone. And if that doesn't bother you and you don't care, then then don't worry about the crate. But most people would probably not want to have to keep cleaning up stuff when they come home.
No, I don't really want to.
Right.
It's just that also in the basement he has the run of the place, and you'd think he would like that better than a crate, but apparently not working.
I'll tell you, when I have 3 daughters, and when I was married and 2 of them are at college and everybody was home, I'd come home at the end of the day and they'd say, we've been home for hours and the dogs have done nothing but lay around the house. And as soon as you come home, it's chaos. They're like, she's home, she's back.
Mommy's back.
Right, and part of the reason is, well, I feed them, I play with them, I train them, I take them out. So yeah, something's going to happen now that I'm home. But basically, they don't do anything when I'm not here. They're just laying around waiting for the next exciting thing to happen. So he's probably just like, oh, she's gone, and she gets on the couch, and then now I got to go to the bathroom. So he wanders off, goes to the bathroom, he gets back on the couch and sleeps the rest of the time. So try to do what you need to do so you can feel better about it and not sort of impose that on our dog. Any other questions, Barbara?
I don't think so. I think you've just helped me an awfully lot.
Great.
With Jack, and to make sure he's a happier dog.
Right. I think he will
I'm
be.
happier. Yes. He's a good boy, and
Yes,
I want
he
him to
is.
have the best. I have heard that Brittany sometimes have anxiety or just excitement about them.
He doesn't seem to be one of them.
Well, he gets quivering in the car when
Yes.
we're going somewhere new.
Yep.
I could just feel his rib cage, and
Yep.
he's just excited.
And that's okay. I mean, we get excited about things, but
Yes, it is.
he could be anticipating anything. We're going to get out and go for a walk. I'm going to go and see the vet. He doesn't really know what's going to happen. But I wouldn't let that bother you too much. If he were standing here doing all of that, then that would be a high level of anxiety. But he's pretty relaxed. My Boston Terrier will shake and quiver. Sometimes she's cold. Sometimes it's just an anticipation of going out. I keep the car seat in my seat heated for her so she can lay down there and be warm and toasty, and sometimes she's still shaking. It's like, okay, I know you're not cold, but it's not a problem for them, so don't let it be a problem for you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's really helped.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.